Have you ever caught your dog staring at you? Not just looking, but really looking, holding eye contact for a few seconds longer than expected, almost like they're trying to tell you something. And in that moment, it feels different, deeper, almost emotional, like there's something happening beneath the surface that you can't fully explain, and most people brush it off as something simple, something cute. But what if that moment is actually one of the most biologically powerful interactions happening between two species on this planet? Because according to modern science, when your dog looks into your eyes, something extraordinary happens, not just in your dog's brain, but in yours as well. And this isn't a metaphor. It's measurable, observable, and repeatable under controlled conditions, a real biological event happening in real time. This discovery became widely recognized after a landmark study published in Science magazine, led by researchers at Azabu University, where scientists carefully observed interactions between dogs and their owners, and what they found changed the way we understand the human-dog relationship forever, because dogs who maintained longer eye contact with their owners showed significant increases in oxytocin levels. And so did the humans, creating what researchers described as an oxytocin-gaze positive loop, a feedback system where the more eye contact occurs, the more the bond strengthens, and the more the brain reinforces that connection, almost like a chemical conversation happening without a single word being spoken. But what makes this even more fascinating is that this system is not just emotional. It's deeply precise, almost like your dog is running a biological scan every time it looks at you. And research from the University of Lincoln revealed something extraordinary called left gaze bias, a phenomenon where dogs instinctively focus on the left side of your face first, the side controlled by the right hemisphere of your brain, which is responsible for genuine emotional expression, meaning your dog is not just looking at you. It is analyzing your most authentic emotional signals, often understanding how you feel before you consciously process it yourself, which explains why your dog sometimes reacts to your mood before you even realize you're feeling it. And this ability is not something all animals possess, because even wolves, the closest relatives of dogs, do not naturally maintain this kind of eye contact with humans, and when they do, it often signals tension or threat rather than connection, which tells us something incredibly important. This behavior didn't just appear randomly. It evolved, shaped over thousands of years of shared survival between humans and dogs, where those animals that were better at forming emotional connections were more likely to survive, be protected, and pass on their traits, gradually transforming dogs into one of the most socially attuned species on Earth. And evolution didn't stop at behavior. It actually reshaped the dog's physical structure, because scientists discovered that dogs developed a specialized facial muscle called the levator anguli oculi medialis, a muscle that wolves do not have, allowing dogs to raise their inner eyebrows and create expressions that humans instinctively respond to, often described as puppy eyes. But this is not just a cute feature. It is a biological adaptation that directly triggers nurturing responses in the human brain, activating neural pathways associated with care, protection, and attachment, which means your dog is not just bonding with you. It is biologically designed to strengthen that bond. And when scientists looked deeper into the human brain, they found something even more surprising. Because when people look into their dog's eyes, the same regions of the brain activate as when they look at their own children, particularly areas linked to reward, emotional processing, and attachment, which helps explain why the bond between humans and dogs can feel so uniquely strong, sometimes even stronger than many human relationships, because it is reinforced not just by experience, but by biology itself. But this connection goes beyond the brain, because during these moments of eye contact and calm interaction, the body begins to respond as well, and studies observing human-dog pairs have shown patterns of heart rate synchronization, a state sometimes referred to as physiological coherence, where both the human and the dog begin to align their internal rhythms, almost like two systems syncing together. And this is one of the reasons therapy dogs are so effective in real-world environments. Because research from places like the University of Missouri has shown that even brief interactions with dogs can significantly reduce cortisol levels, the hormone associated with stress, while increasing feelings of calmness, safety, and emotional stability. And what makes this even more powerful is that the connection is not one-sided, because dogs also mirror human emotional states, meaning your stress, your calmness, your anxiety, and even your focus can directly influence how your dog feels, a phenomenon known as emotional contagion, where emotional states transfer between individuals. And long-term studies have even shown synchronization of stress patterns between dogs and their owners, meaning over time, your emotional life and your dog's emotional life become interconnected in ways most people never fully realize. There are also recent findings that push this understanding even further, showing that dogs can produce real tears during emotional reunions with their owners, something once believed to be uniquely human. And once again, this response is linked to oxytocin, reinforcing the idea that the emotional systems of dogs and humans are not identical, but deeply aligned in key biological ways, creating a shared emotional language that doesn't rely on words, only on presence and interaction. But perhaps the most important part of all of this is what it means in everyday life, because this system is not something that only exists in research labs or scientific papers. It is happening every single day. Every time your dog looks at you, every time you respond, every time there is even a brief moment of connection, and these moments build on each other, shaping the relationship between you and your dog over time, strengthening trust, reducing stress, and creating a sense of emotional security that benefits both of you. And this also means that the way you respond matters more than most people realize. Because if you avoid eye contact, remain distracted, or fail to engage, the feedback loop weakens. But if you pause, even for a few seconds, and meet your dog's gaze, you reinforce a system that has been evolving for more than 15,000 years. A system designed specifically to connect two different species in a way that is both emotional and biological at the same time. Now imagine this from your dog's perspective, because unlike you, your dog's world is centered almost entirely around you. Your presence, your behavior, your signals, and every time it looks at you, it is not just observing. It is connecting, reinforcing a bond that has been shaped by evolution, refined by biology, and strengthened through shared experience. And once you truly understand that, those small moments start to feel very different. Because that stare isn't random. It isn't meaningless. It isn't just curiosity. It is a biological signal, a chemical conversation, a product of evolution, and a deeply real connection unfolding right in front of you. And the next time your dog looks into your eyes, instead of looking away, pause for a moment and look back. Because in that brief interaction, something powerful is happening, something measurable, something ancient, something that has been evolving for thousands of years. And it's happening right there, between you and your dog.